Good evening and welcome to Gooner Matterz, the channel for football fans across the globe where your opinion matters. So yeah, people, it's a live segment, and as you could see, Liverpool transfer rumors and news. Straight from a Liverpool fan. I will come to the introduction just now. And before we do that, just subscribe. Please help the to keep the channel afloat, where you can subscribe to Gooner Matters, hit the bell for all the notifications, and of course, give us a thumbs up that we can also maintain the likes. So, as you could see, it is a live segment, and what a surprise we have coming a bit later. So, I want to just introduce my guest. But before we do that, we can just play out or after this intro. Yes, welcome back. What is up, Gunners? What is up, the Gunners, the family across the broad, local, those who are watching? Welcome to this channel. Without any further ado, I've got a Liverpool supporter, a fan in studio, and his name is. Hold it, I'll come to him now. As you could see, his name is there. But now there might be a thought going through your head that say, what is an Arsenal fan gonna tell you about Liverpool and the counterparts of United's and Everton, whoever? What can an Arsenal fan tell you about that? I'm going to tell you, I can tell you nothing, 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 nothing. That's why I have people like Alistair Solomon. It's an old soccer mate. We played together in one team, and currently we don't play, but if we should play, we're playing in opposite sides now. Alistair, my man, how are you?
I'm good, Glenn. I'm very, very good. And hopefully you are too.
Yeah, no, I'm great. Thank you. I'm great, my man. I'm great. Um, Alistair, you're a Liverpool fan, and as far as I can remember, as long as I know you, it's not that long, but as long as I know you, you have been a Liverpool fan, and obviously, I'm not gonna disclose your age. Tell us just quickly about how did you become a Liverpool fan, and what did transpire, or what is your thoughts like Liverpool. I'm going to support Liverpool. How did it come that you become a Liverpool fan?
Um, for me, it was a family thing. Basically, my dad worked for Seth Marine, so they visited the UK, Liverpool, Manchester, a lot. And actually, there was um, where the teams from the ships that used to go visit, that they would actually go play local soccer clubs. And my dad was fortunate, that time, can't remember, because he was still also young, so that was before I was even born, that he played against a Liverpool Football Club, and it was the arranged by one of the club's managers at that time. So my dad, since then, he was a Liverpool fan. But for me personally, it happened, I would say, one day. And funny enough, it was a game when DSTV first came to South Africa, and we could watch the, the Premier League games. And the first game I ever watched live was between Manchester and Liverpool. Gary Bailey was in the poles. Bruce Hobart was playing. I remember Jan Molby, John Barnes, Ian Rushton. Those were the players that was my first game, and I was told, because I actually went to go watch it by one of the old chairmen who were lucky enough was my uncle, Matti Erasmus. He was the chairman of Rocklands Football Association, and all the guys were there. I was probably think about 9, 10 years old, and I was given a choice. Who are you going to support? I mean, I didn't have much of a thinking, because all memory I could hear was my dad's voice back then, which was Liverpool. So my thinking was Liverpool, whether they won that day or lost that day, it was going to be Liverpool. And since that time, it's always been Liverpool. That was,
You
that was
almost
my
gave your, yeah,
that was
sorry,
my
go for it, go.
no, that was my first influence, my biggest influence that I can recall. I mean, I cannot ever think we are ever even had a doubt about Liverpool, because since then it was, I mean, Liverpool was the team then, and that is just the time which United began to flourish. So I never had any problem with United fans as a teenager. Only when they started winning and getting closer to our number, until the time that they took over our league record of the most league trophies. And that's only when I heard about Manchester United, which was in my late teens. Not to make fun of United fans, but that's
Yeah,
just how I got to know United fans, was after the fact, which I think I probably was a Liverpool supporter about 9 years.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, look, it's always nice to talk about the rivals. Well, it's not about them now. We will have some surprise a bit later. Yeah, you almost gave your age away there, Alistair. You talk about you talk about Ian Rush and John Barnes and all those guys. I mean, Grobler, the South African goalkeeper, Grobler was in your polls as well.
Yeah.
I think that was also the era that he played. Yeah, so I think in terms of going through all the motions with Liverpool, and eventually Liverpool won the league after so many years. So many years it was. And I mean, since this guy came in, Jurgen Klopp, what is your take about when he came in? What did you think about this? Is just German coming from Borussia Dortmund. What can he bring to the English club, Liverpool Giants, and all sorts of things? Yes, he came in at a time where Liverpool were very low, I think. What is your take on him? Why do you think he became a Liverpool manager?
For me personally, it's simple. Jurgen Klopp is humble. He's down to earth. He's the fans' man, if you want to call it. If you put a bracket around it, he's the fans' man. He's so relatable. Um, he looks like you can go up to, because some of my friends, when I was working at the airport, got to meet him, and um, they would say, "Look here." I mean, even Manchester United fans went to go take pictures with him, which actually I was a bit upset with. But I mean, he's so approachable as as a person. And if he as a person is like that, I mean, just imagine a coach. You have him as a coach, and how uplifting it will be for any player being coached by this man. And I think at that, his personality's got that chain reaction which filtered down from the whole club right down to everybody, to the spectators. But even before that, when we heard Jurgen Klopp is coming, and you start googling who's this man, and you listen to what he has done by Dortmund. Um,
Yeah,
you you seen the videos, how people praised him, how they liked him, and the statue that he left. I mean, and the legacy that he also left there. I mean, it made us all, first of all, as excited. Look, here's this man. And when we got to know him in his first season, I mean, they was just, it was a perfect, felt like a glove, man. It's like the perfect glove, and it just fitted perfectly. And
yeah,
I honestly say, I mean, we lucky. to have him as a manager, because I mean we could have gone different ways.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Jurgen Klopp is a very dramatic and charismatic person, as I have seen him on the sidelines. I mean, there was this one I laughed. I really laughed at him. There's this one time I think Liverpool scored a goal, and he ran up and down on the side of the pitch and he lost his glasses. What a funny moment that was. He just picked it up and obviously put it back on, and then yeah, that is the type of character that I see in there. So in terms of the season of 2020 2021, this is now the season that has passed. You won the league 2020 2019 2020. That is
Hmm.
the season that you won the league. I'm not going to talk about that season. The season that's passed, 2021.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to even talk about Arsenal because, as everybody know, Arsenal became. I don't know. I'm not going to even go there. What was Liverpool season like? I mean, Liverpool come from a champion right down to almost eighth, ninth, and then go back up. And then when your goalkeeper score that goal, I mean, that is that is exactly the goal that brought you into the Champions League spaces.
Hmm.
How was your? What is your take on the Liverpool game since 2021 league started?
Well, if you go back the first 5 games, um, every game didn't go our way. Actually, you can put it Aston Villa, because I
Yeah,
believe you can, if you break the league up, and you can see when what happened when the the Aston Villa game, um, then the injuries and different injuries at different periods of it, when
yeah,
we really needed these guys to step up, but then they all got injured. The Everton game, and it was that had a chain reaction, and although we can't make that as the excuse, but for me, that had a chain reaction right through the whole season, because we
yeah,
missed
yeah,
players at critical times of the season, and that 9 draws, it really killed us, because if you take that
sure.
9 draws away, then we would have been hand in hand with Man City, and it would have been, we would have challenged for the league again. But it was just those critical issues that occurred, and I cannot say it's an excuse or blame that the cause for our season. But I think when we needed other players, the players that normally came up from the bench now got to play their full games, and they needed to step up. I needed Mo Salah to take a leadership role with Mane up up there and take responsibility of then knocking in the goals, but that didn't happen. So I'm not gonna try and speculate why, or maybe it was just because if you look at, not to make an excuse again, the
Yeah,
high
yeah,
intensity football that we have been playing out for the last 3 4 seasons since Jurgen Klopp came, I can honestly say, look here, if this is a season to take a break, then so be it. Um, in the mid-season, Liverpool fans was content just to make the top 4, and that was our priority, because since we had these injuries, woes, and not getting guys to play there, because we had to makeshift midfielders to play in our centre half position, it became difficult for the team, and uh, you could see the responsibility, and also that on the guys. Some of the guys looked tired. There was one game where Liverpool literally looked tired. Well, not one game, but a few games. The guys looked tired, and for me, if this is the season to take a break from that rocket football, the Jurgen Klopp rocket football, that he normally plays, I'm fine with it, and I think there is a lot of Liverpool fans out there. They are fine with the season where we ended up and the way we got about it, because at the end it lifted our spirits, because that Allison goal, I mean, people were crying all over the world. You cannot take that away. I mean, United fans, I'm sorry to bring them up and nothing, but they wanted to know why we are going on the way we did, because it's just a goal. Why now Allison scored the goal of the season? And actually, I read that it was nominated Liverpool's goal of the season,
Goal of
club
the
goal.
season, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it meant so much for us to end in the top four to challenge for the Champion League again. So
Yeah.
it meant a lot, and also it gives us that little bit of momentum for the next season,
Yes. Yeah,
because
no,
it's
look,
some
I mean, yeah, go for it,
no,
go
no,
for it.
no, it just made us feel good. If the United fans wanted to know why, it just made us feel good. We had a tough season. Oh, you can cut no ice. We
Yes,
had a tough season.
yes.
So
Yeah, no,
just
look, Allison's goal was the goal, and I think you needed that goal on that game at the time just
mm,
to give you that last bit of confidence to make it top four. You obviously ended up on third. Um, do you put it down to a lack of man management from the manager's side? Because if you look at it, the guys were tired, as you've mentioned. Um, is there sufficient backup for the players? I mean, you guys you had depth on the bench as well. If you look
mm,
at Zakiri, you look at Oxlade Chamberlain, you look at Origi, you look at there's other names. He brought in Thiago, which is a brilliant
mm,
player, very calm on the ball. He's done well in Germany, and when he came to Liverpool, he just continued with his form. But he's not a runner. I mean, you had similar defensive midfield players that is more of a runner box to box. You might use a lot of Wijnaldum. I mean, now that Wijnaldum might be leaving or is leaving, he's obviously leaving. They had a nice go away for him there.
mm.
What is he going to do with a player like that? Without a player like that, because I take it down to it's a lack of managing the players, or at least the backup of all those positions that where you've lacked this season. What would you say? Is it like that, or is it just purely the lack of resting for the players?
My take on that is, I think Klopp has, every season he has been here, he's learned more and more about the league, and that is why we won it. And now he's learned what he needs to retain it, because if you don't have that big squad like your Man City, and you don't have that guys to fill into certain places, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
he's learned that. And I think our first signing that we made now, um, which was Konate, shows you what he is planning a way forward for those guys. Because if I look at it, who's he not going to sell and who he wants to buy, so I think he will have, if everybody's fit, he will have enough in those positions that you have. There's guys that hasn't played. So for me, the scary thing is that, um, to get that consistency, if somebody goes in, he needs to be not at the same level, but he needs to have that league experience of playing enough league games to be comfortable, and not to be go there and be that nervous Nelly in that position.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
So hopefully he has learned, because I think this season was a huge learning curve for Klopp, and going ahead and looking at what he's eyeing at. If you look at not look at the rumors of who's coming, but if you look at what he's got and what he said about the squad that he has, and I think he's on the right path. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's going to be small twitches to make sure the squad is big enough to go challenge the title again, and then
yes,
to maintain that challenge for the next coming seasons.
yeah,
And I think we will have enough big enough. But like I said, for me the biggest issue is Jurgen Klopp learns every season, learns how to deal with it. Therefore, it's important that we have this manager that's going to stay for another few seasons, because the
yeah,
continuation of his vision and his goals and his plans is very important for the club, and especially for the
yes,
players
yes,
also, because they need to know also, okay, I'm playing, this is where what my position is within the club, within the squad, so that they know, okay, if I don't play this week, I will get opportunities coming forth, because there's a lot of other competitions that they change the squads.
yeah,
So they will get ample enough opportunity. But for me is that these guys that are sitting on the bench, not playing every week, that some way when an injury comes, they need to have that experience behind them, so that they're confident, because you could see certain players when they came in, it took them a bit while to get into the, how can I say, the grit of the game. They weren't there.
yes,
And especially if you look at Trent Alexander's form throughout the whole season, he had this. If you had a graph, it would go up and down, up and down. Then you had a good game, then you had a bad game, then you had two good games, then you had three bad games. It was like that. So if you have somebody there on the bench that's gonna come in when he has those type of games, and give the manager confidence, and also make him aware, look here, you need to, your position is, there's other guy, if you don't perform, there's other guy that's going to step up and take your game away, your position
yes,
away.
yes.
So you need to have that competition within the teams.
Yeah, that is with every team there is that. So you're talking about possible players that might be sold, or maybe I don't think going on loan. This guy, Harry Wilson. Harry Wilson is a phenomenal player, and I mean you've seen what he did at what's the name, Bournemouth, when
Mm,
he was playing at Bournemouth.
yeah,
Um, he had no game time really at Liverpool. A phenomenal player. He's a good tactician in his position. He's got a hell of a left footer. He's one of the guys that is linked to leave the club. Um, and then of course this guy. Um, wow, he was playing well when he was, I think, at Sunderland before he came to Liverpool.
yes,
He's or Stoke City at least.
yeah,
He was bought for 11.6 million. Also, not enough game time that he got from the German, and of course the player that is the player that scored the goal against your Merseyside derby.
yeah,
That
Origi.
stupid mistake of the Everton goalkeeper he made. This guy, he scored a goal, and it was the goal of that game that really also helped you guys to win the league last the season
Mhm.
before last.
Yeah,
Then it's your backup goalkeeper, Adrian. He's also linked to leave. So there's five guys, and then of course we now spoke of it a bit earlier. So and it will be a genie, Wijnaldum.
yeah.
So Wijnaldum, what's his name? Adrian.
Adrian, But Adrian is actually rumored, not rumored. What I actually read up, they're busy with negotiations with him signing another 3-year contract.
3-year
So
contract.
yeah, so it
Is
doesn't
he
look like.
going to play at all? Because I haven't seen him play. I've probably seen him play just in the League Cup, I think, and maybe one or two games in the lower bottom teams.
Yeah, look at.
He didn't play.
I think he will get ample enough opportunity to play in different cup games because I think our future lies as a backup. It would be the youngster um, that came Allison's understudy. Um, um, was it the goalkeeper that stood when Allison was injured now?
Okay,
Or
yeah, I'm not really familiar with the Liverpool guys.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so those are the five guys, Alistair, that are linked to leave. And then, of course, you mentioned that you guys bought Ibrahim Konate. You bought him, or you paid the release clause of 35 million. Do you think for a 19-year-old, I think he's 19, 19-year-old is
22.
that
Ibrahim.
fee is quite a high fee.
No, I think equality. He's under 20. What did he play in the under 21
For France, yeah,
France? Yeah. I think he was. I think he's 22. I'm not really
is
sure,
it?
but what I saw there was some post, and I think he's 22 years old, and
Okay. And
because
then,
I
of
know,
course, yeah.
yeah, because I saw the ages of our back. Virgil is the oldest, and then it's Robertson, Konuti, and Alexander. Arnold, they both 22 years old.
Yes,
So, yeah.
quite a young defense, yeah. And that is
Yeah.
what you need. You need that youngsters in your team that can grow with the team, that can build a rapport with the rest of the guys. And of course, I wanna just touch on this guy. I mean, what a player! Very very underrated player, Minamino.
Yeah, I
What
think
what What is the
he is.
story of that guy? I mean, he was reported that he's got a future in the team, and then obviously he came in. He didn't get the game time that he needed, and then he went off to is it Southampton? He scored two
Mhm.
goals for Southampton. I remember before he went on that loan, he scored against us in the game that he played. Um, so what a player! I mean, why can't he be kept and groomed and um, become one of the greats? I mean, he's got that potential to become a great of Liverpool.
I think I'm not gonna try and climb into Jurgen Klopp's brains or either what the club is planning to to do. But on what I've read so far, there's an offer on the table to buy him. What I understand from the club, um, they are willing, but they want the right price. So they got a figure that they have, and I don't think Southampton will be able to match that figure for him. Therefore, the club is um kind of say in a comfortable position. They
Yeah,
can let
yeah,
him, but they would also prefer to keep him if they don't get a price. Because
yeah,
if you look, I think Origi is halfway out the door. I
yeah.
think
No, you should go. I think he's at his time at Liverpool. He should go.
so. I think he's halfway out at the door. So if if that happens, then who's gonna be our backup? Because first of all, we have your likes of Jota there. So Jota is,
Oh,
if you're looking at the front three, Mane, Salah, and Firmino, and then Jota is the only one capable enough. And I think that he is good enough to come into that front three. But as all depends on where Klopp see him playing, and I think Klopp maybe he's got the plan B where he plays two up front that he can really push that, or he can alter the, how can I say, the midfield and the front three, those positions. If you want to
Yeah,
go front four, I mean, he literally has all these options, and if you find the place for him in whatever formation he plays the team in, then there would be a position for him. But obviously, he will need to understand he's going to come off from the bench, or he might play when Salah is injured, or Firmino is injured, or maybe they off form and they just need that the competition for those that he comes in and, hey, look here, you need to money, you need to lift your socks up, and or else I'm going to take your position, something like that. So
yeah,
I think there is a place for him. It just depends on how the manager want to utilize him. If
yeah.
he's still a Liverpool player coming the beginning of next season.
Yeah, I think he's a brilliant player. I rate him one of he could be one of the good guys in or greats in Liverpool. He has that potential. I mean, if I was a developing manager, I probably would have had him in one of my teams. It's
Mm,
just the lack of game time, and I think he's got all the he ticks all the boxes when it comes to attack. I mean, I've watched before when I heard he's coming to Liverpool. I watched a couple of his games, and his intelligence on the ball is phenomenal. Alistair, there's a couple of comments. Let us just go to the live comments
mm.
for the first time in the segment. Um, let's see. Yeah. The Urban Ghost. Evening, fellas. Evening, Mr. Ghost. I hope you're well. Then he's also saying, when I lived in Cape Town, I was surprised by the Liverpool flags in the back of many of the taxi buses.
You still get him. You still get him. There's
Yeah,
still
you
a lot
still do,
of
right?
Liverpool taxis.
Yeah, there's a lot. In fact, there's a lot of those quantum taxi buses where you find the Liverpool flag or United flag. You don't see much of United. I haven't not, but the Liverpool flag is like it's like all the taxi drivers is a Liverpool supporter. Oh yeah, my mentor cannon fodder. Evening, fellas. Evening, Alex. Thank you for watching. Um, Mr. Adams. Jeffrey Adams. Fantastic stuff, guys. You never walk alone. Yes, I think as you could see on my thumbnail is that Liverpool transfer rumors and news, and below that you can't see it now. It says there, you walked alone this season. Yeah, just a bit, a bit of fun
Now,
there.
we were walking in front of Arsenal trying to pull them. But hulle was 'n bietjie harrig. Hulle wil nie gekom het die come to the end of the season, so when they saw Liverpool need to play for something, so somehow they also needed to feel we need to play for the European position there
Yeah.
somewhere.
The Urban Ghost. Hi, Alex, Raz. Um, I don't see Raz here. Alex, hi, Urban Warriors. Mario Gilbert, Mr. Cashbolt. Wow,
My
thank
neighbor.
you. Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, Mario, you can just give us a thumbs up if it is you. This afternoon at work, I had this customer and he had a Liverpool mask on, and I said, "Oh, you're a Liverpool supporter." I've got a podcast and I'm featuring Liverpool tonight, and I think it is the guy, Mr. Gilbert, Mario Gilbert. Just give us a thumbs up if it is you, because Mr. Cashbolt, and that is where he knows me from. So yeah, thank you for the view, and Welcome. Um, yeah, there's a question, and it's probably based as a question for you, Alistair. Does Klopp need to overhaul his squad to win another Premier League? What do you say about that?
No, I think he's the tweak it. L- Little changes or little not you can't call any player little addition to the club. I mean, I think Canote is going to make a huge difference. First of all, stability in all our the defenders making, because if I look at our squad, um, of I think 40 odd players, we got um 11 defenders, and
Yeah.
so we should have enough with with him coming to make sure that we can contend. And I think like the youngster Nico Williams, he had a funny game last night. Who can I say? Joel Matip. I'm not really sure how Klopp feels because he's very injury prone. Nathaniel Phillips showed his stuff. Um, Kabak is leaving, so Kanote comes into his place. Joe Gomez becomes injury free, and there is going to be a lot of competitions within our the defense. So one player being added. Um, Williams also showed his stuff. I mean, versus United, him and Nat Phillips at the back. So I cannot really see him tweaking at that any further. Genie is leaving. Keita might also be leaving. Shakiri might be leaving. So Oxlade, I know, is definitely staying. Klopp is a big fan of the Ox, so he's definitely staying. James Milner, I still think he's got another season in him. Um,
No, man, I can't see that. I can't see James Milner.
his presence in the squad is immense. I don't think um, it will be, how can I say, it's like taking not the heartbeat out of the team, but the if you don't have that experience, the guy that's gonna put the youngster in his line. I know Henderson has been doing that for a while now, but still having that, because if Henderson is off injured, who's gonna take over the role? I can't
Yeah,
really see.
I want to just say something about that, Alistair. If Milner should go and Henderson, I mean, I've always been a fan of Henderson.
Hmm,
If he's on that field, on that pitch, there is a command, and I think that is why he became the captain after Gerrard. That
yes.
command and that presence that he brings to the field, like you said
Hmm,
now about James Milner. I think Curtis
Jones.
Jones,
Hmm,
he can be that next James Milner because he's a box to box player. He confuses many of the midfielders because then you find him here, then you find him there. He's unpredictable. However, he can become that type of player, and I think it is time for James to probably move on, but to give the reins to that player to be a backup. Yes, he's a more of an attacking player, but I mean, Jurgen Klopp is a good person to mold somebody.
yeah.
And I think my opinion is that Milner should go, or at least he should retire. What is 30? What 37, 35 or 37? Around
Now
there. I'm
he's
not sure.
34. I think he's turning 35 this year.
So he can play over 35 next. But yeah,
You can
so
come join us. You can come join us.
yeah, he can come join us. So yeah, I think Curtis Jones is the better backup for Jordan Henderson. Should he obviously um, um, get injured? And there's another comment from Cannon Fodder, Alex. It says that it seems a lot more of the same. Mane, Salah, Firmino, Robertson. It needs to be freshened up. Pardon me. I mean, yes, I probably would agree because you talked about Jota earlier on. Jota, I think it's a more his decision making on the pitch is much better than Firmino. Firmino has got a presence and he holds up the ball very nicely. And I think with when Jota came in, he played well off from Firmino. But I think for scoring goals as a number 9, Firmino hasn't been that prolific in front of goals. Where Jota came in and he's made a whole difference in your squad. Is that maybe the case, as Alex is saying there? Your teams need to be freshened up a bit. And I mean, Alex is a huge Arsenal supporter, but he's probably just trying to get a bit of a thought out of there. It's not banter. It's just the fact that you want to just bring something across.
Look, yeah, I think if you go according to the um, reports coming out of the UK, all of these sports magazines and these newspapers, you're looking at Rapinia from Leeds.
Yeah,
He's
I saw that. I saw that he's linked to
uh,
you guys.
yeah, Patsum Daka, him also. So
Sorry, say that again. You broke up there.
Patson Daka.
Oh, Pats and Dhaka, I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at these rumors, I'm not verifying any of these rumors. Not in that position to be able to do that. If you listen to, if you read the backstories on what's happening, the possibilities, and I think if that is the case, Rapinha would be good. Taka would be good to freshen up. My thinking is, I heard there was a rumor that they might be selling Navigator. For me, him
Yeah,
and
that I
Curtis
heard.
Jones, yeah, him and Curtis Jones are very alike. They are driving players, midfielders that drives forward. They
Yeah,
don't. Your other players, they like to still hold on to the ball, play it back. But those two players are very attack-minded players, and it will be sad to see Naby Keita because injury prone and he hasn't really fulfilled what was expected of him. And I'm not talking about in goals. I'm just trying to stay fit and playing and being that driving force because Curtis Jones is amazing. He's a superb player. I cannot take anywhere. And you're actually right.
yeah, no, he's brilliant. He's brilliant.
As a presence, he's still very very young. So to take, you cannot compare him with Milner because
No,
Milner,
you can't. No, you can't.
yeah, because you can. I mean Milner. I mean I had a coach, Dopey, um, Wilfred Johnson when I was playing for Woodlands United, and he used to make out of certain players utility players. You might have enough defenders, so you become a utility player where you're playing in the midfield, the number 10 role, or that role straight up front where you're a target man because of your height. So he made a lot, and for me, Milner is that in for Liverpool because if there's a slot to be filled, gooi vir Milner daarin. En hy sal sy hardheid speel, hy sal sy hardheid tackle, hy sal sy geel kaartjie kry.
Yeah,
So that is what Milner means to me. That's why he's so for me his presence is so important. So that's why I hope he still got because I like him a lot. He reminds me the the grit he's got, the tackling ability. Because not all of us is like Henderson. Henderson also got that little bit of a. Hy het my nou getackle, ek gaan jou kry meneer. He's got
yeah,
that in him. That's what I like. I like still to see that in the game, whereby
yes,
you get that aggressiveness still in players. I mean, we
yeah,
all be believing FIFA fair play and playing soccer the right way and
yeah.
being, but still, soccer is a contact sport, and you
It
still
is.
need to have that little bit of grit where you know, okay, 50-50 tackles. I mean, any coach in the world is going to tell you, you pull out of a 50-50 tackle, you come sit on the bench by me. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, that's a manager that is very very hardcore and he's very ruthless. I mean, yeah, that is something that we need at Arsenal. There's also talks about a guy from Sporting, um, Gonzalez.
Yes.
Yeah, that he's also
Oh,
linked to you guys
mm.
for about 60 million euros. That's a lot of money. I don't know him. I don't know if you've heard of seen him play.
Well, I heard
Gonzalez.
the rumors. For me, it's just speculation and rumors because I mean, like, it's about who's having conversations with who's not turning up for practice because they got different, like say for instance with Patson Daka, he's not playing
Yeah,
for his national side because he's busy sorting out his personal or his future.
nah,
That
yeah, yeah,
that is what his coach shit. So meaning the trying to read between the lines, he's busy sorting his contract out with his club, or he's making himself to say, look here, I'm ready to sign for Liverpool, and that is the perceptions these writers are reading between the lines. So
yes,
so there is a lot, and I think the Italian and the Spanish gossip um, line, or the media, they ruthless in the rumors. So you cannot read
I think
everything. That
yes,
these Believe everything that you read from these guys. And normally, if you look at the comments from your manager, whoever your manager is, if he is
yeah,
mentioning a player and to say no, I like him, and there's a lot of questions about him, and he's actually answering questions about that particular player. That gives you normally idea which way the club will be going. But if he's not and not taking any questions about the player, then there's nothing there really.
yes.
So
Um, there is another comment from Mario Gilbert. It's based on your Milner story. There is only one, one James Milner. You never walk alone. Thanks for that comment, Mario. And there's a question for me from Alex from Cannon Fodder. A question for Gooner Matterz. Who should be Arsenal's main transfer target? Um, Alex, I don't know. There's also reports, and I read it this morning that a possibility or links for Emil Smith Rowe to go out. And but he responded. I think earlier in the season, he responded that being a Arsenal fan and playing for Arsenal, it is to die for. It's something that you can't explain. I got a bit of fright, and you know what I feel and how I feel about this youngster. He's my hero. Um, I got a fright when I read that, but I knew eventually it's purely just speculation. Yes, there is some interest in him. There always will be interest in him because of the type of player he is. And then of course, if we should target somebody, um, Ancelotti already said that the Viking is not for sale. He's not going to come because he has plans for the Viking. And I think Arsenal is doing and making the same mistakes over and over. They are interested in a player, but they'd rather try their utmost to get that player and then forget about the backup. In this case, Emiliano Buendia is the backup if they don't get the Viking from Real Madrid. So Buendia is my first choice of target, and of course, if Yves Basuma, we need those two players as backup. Firstly, for a number 10 role, and of course, a partner for Thomas Partey, and then we need a left back. I'm not too worried about the left back because we have somebody to play there and to obviously back up Kieran Tierney. So to answer your question, Emiliano Buendia and Yves Basuma, that is my main targets that Arsenal should focus on. So yeah, coming back to Liverpool, you know who that is.
Oh
Oh,
man,
it was the John Henry.
these Americans, yo, it's almost like the Americans is taking over England.
Well, look, they can't come to Cape Town because if you're gonna say yes, I'm an American, you might just be sorry because you can't say I'm an American. I don't know. What is your take on these guys? I mean, they are one of the culprits that has brought so much discord in the English league or in
No,
English club and the history of England. I mean, Liverpool and Arsenal are the oldest clubs in England, and for their owners to be so greedy for dollars, to go into the English, not English, European Super League. What did they think they will obviously get right? I mean, this guy, he doesn't look like a millionaire, but he is a billionaire. I mean, he took over from you mentioned it the other day, is it the FGS or what is that name?
their group is FSG.
FSG, yeah.
Hmm.
But when did he become the major holder
Shareholder.
of the owner? Yeah.
Remember, he the FSG group. They are a basic a sports company that they own
Yeah,
the
like
Red
the
Sox.
same as KSE, the Cronkies, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he took the majority ownership from his partner, who's still on there with on the
He's
Liverpool
the, he's
board.
the chairman at the moment. It's
Yeah, yeah,
Werner, something like that.
yeah. So, but look here, um, not to press all the buttons or the panic buttons. They were you need to understand these Americans are businessmen. They operate with the thinking of profit margins and points and the stock market and how much they can repay back the investors and all of that. So these are American businessmen. For my thinking is for everybody that was part, they were offered a cake so sweet, full of money, a pot of gold. Let's call it a pot of gold, full of money at the end of this Super League rainbow. And they were offered that any businessman, because if you look at the setup and what they were going to get out of it, because it's not all these clubs, because they had people that were sponsoring them, investors from the media, all of that. So it's not only, you cannot just point to them is to blame, because where did all this money come from? And it came from the Arab nations. There was a lot of fingers in the pot, and
Yeah.
any businessman, when it comes to money, he's gonna follow the money.
Yeah.
And
I think the amount was about 240 million euros per club that they will get, I think, per year or something, or 300 and
yes,
odd million. I can't remember the full amount, but that's a lot of money for a club to receive. And I think, and many people has been saying, it's all about the money. It's just about money that what these clubs or owners are after.
hmm,
I mean,
yeah.
look at that. It's a lot of money in only in that suit. So
So
yeah, I don't know, Alistair. What is the story with your owners? I think you
look,
touched on the other night. It's they're not the same as the Glazers and obviously the Cronkies. They are hungry for money, but they have a slight difference there. What do you think is the difference between them and the Glazers and the Cronkies?
look here. As Liverpool Football Club, if you look at the structure, and I think what was important, the fans and the guys that operate the COP, and these guys that have seats on different boards or organizations within the football club, they might not have a vote on at the board level, but they got the voice, and they made their voice heard. And
Yes.
these people heard, because at the end of the day, if you threaten their bottom line, which is, look here, we're not gonna tell any of your games, you're not gonna get money from your stadium. At the end of the day, you're gonna sit up and write and say, look here, this is our fans talking. If we don't listen and listen to what they got to say, then where are we gonna end up with a stadium with 10,000 people, 5,000 people coming to the game, and the rest is all boycotting us? I mean,
Mm.
how is it not going to tarnish our brand outside, and the name and the history attached to the name? I mean, if you want to challenge that, you're making a huge mistake, and
Huge mistake. Yeah.
they learn.
And yeah. And I think you're making a valid point there, and I think if Alex is still listening, and I think this is what the Arsenal fans are trying to do. At least a handful of Arsenal fans. I mean, I speak about Alex from Cannon Fodder TV now. I mean, this guy he's a hardcore fan, and he will go on a Sunday or on a Thursday diligently and do a live show there, and you will go and protest even if it's by himself. That tells me that this diligence of from a fan's point of view.
Mm,
So if Arsenal's fans can come to a point where they all say we're not going to go to games, we're not going to go to the Emirates to watch the games. We're going to protest. We're going to boycott the games. We're not going to buy the merchandise of Arsenal. And like you now said, that the fans, they decided, and they obviously brought it to the attention of the owners and said, we're not going to come to your games. Even the players of Liverpool, like the captain,
mm.
the manager, they all had their say about what Liverpool wanted to do. And that is what we're lacking at Arsenal. I mean, um, Alex from Cannon Fodder TV, he's so adamant about a protest to be consistent, and I think I want to ask you this question: do you think the protesting that we as Arsenal fans and the United fans also still boycotting the Glazers? The chance that they do is we want Cronky out, the Glazers must go, Glazers out, or whatever the case may be. Do you think the protesting will make some sort of a noise for these owners to see what they're doing to the fans?
You see, it's basically the relationship with the fans. If your owners don't have a relationship with the fans, then they're not going to care about the fans. They got people, they have people, assistants, and whoever that deal with, or they have a supporters club where they can, look here, we can sweeten your pot, or we can sweeten your mouth, buy you enough food so you can keep your mouth. If they got that within the club, whereby us, like say for instance, we got a saying, we're not really fans, we family. So if your family members got an issue, he's gonna come to the table, who's ever the head of the table, and we're gonna have a family discussion about it. And I think that is the relationship that the owners have with um, with the fans, with the local fans, because I've seen John Henry go stand in the club really experience the atmosphere. Besides him having that private, nice, warm seats that they normally go sit on in the stadium, but they actually a few times him and his wife went to go stand in the cup and going and experience it and having that relationship of the fans. Therefore, the same with the um, baseball club that they own, and I think they own another sporting entity in the states,
Yeah, no,
and I
these
think
Americans, they're full of sports clubs and stuff.
yeah, so
Sorry, you can go there.
they know fans is money. You you if you damage that relationship, it's gonna damage your bottom line. So coming from the stage, they understand that business part of it. Therefore, they need to have a relationship with the fans. Therefore,
Yeah,
they cannot have like your club's relationship is non-existent because there's the fans and then there's the rich people. The same with
yeah,
Manchester United. There's the fans and that people, the Glazers, they don't care. You can see
yeah.
it because they literally do not care.
The same,
They
the
look,
same with the Cronkies. They don't care about the fans.
yeah, you see, and at the end of the day, if your fans threaten their bottom line, it's either you're out or you sell the club or you create a relationship with the fans and you become accessible. And I think that's what John Henry made. He made him accessible towards the fan, and even in his apology to the fans, um, he could see he's trying to rebuild. He lost the trust of the fans for a while, and now he's trying to rebuild that relationship again to say you can trust us because
Yeah.
we are here for you. We listen.
So that,
We listen.
yeah, that's the owner, and I think from an owner's perspective, I mean, from a fan's perspective, I think that is really what they would want in an owner, is to see at least some sort of care from an owner to the fans. And I mean, Arsenal fans would love to have a seat at the table for hopefully if we get a new owner. You talked about family earlier on, and you yourself played in a game here in Cape Town with all the Liverpool fans and the United against the United fans. This is the family that you're talking about. I mean, these are the players. Yo, and I see a couple of names that I know there.
And
Um,
a Spurs supporter,
what is that guy doing?
you came
That
to
Spurs guy,
represent.
what is he doing there? There's an Arsenal guy also there. And then this is the other guys, the surprise that I spoke of, the United fans, the pinch of United, the pinch of salt. Yeah. This run quickly by before we just over a hour now
Mm.
before we conclude. How was it to play against the fans of United? I mean, yeah, look at this. There's a blurry photo.
Mm.
Yeah, there we go. There's all of you guys together, the United fans and the Liverpool fans team. Who won that day, by the way?
Liverpool, of course.
Is it?
Look here, so far, since I've been a while, there was quite a few Liverpool supporter how can I say games, even
Yeah.
tournaments that was held, and so far, all I know is Liverpool has won them all. In if even if I wasn't a part of it, but those other teams that represented Liverpool so far in the whole of the Western Cape, all the tournaments that I'm aware of, Liverpool have either won or won the games.
Yeah, okay. In the
So, but
United side is also there's also a
Yeah.
couple of guys that played soccer with us, Alistair. There's Quinton
Mm,
Allies, the
yeah.
Jerome is there. Um, yes, what is his name? Here in front, sitting in front. What is his name again? I
Uh,
can't come to his name. And there's Puggy. There's
maybe,
Mia is
maybe.
there.
Mm, uh,
There's quite a couple
yeah.
of games I played in our team, eh?
Mm, Dupi is also there.
Dupree,
So
yeah, Dupree is also there. And yeah, it's like just to conclude, these guys that you see in the Liverpool side and the guys that you see in the United side, they are the hardcore fans of Liverpool and of United. That's only a handful. I mean, Cape Town and South Africa is is the home away from England for United and for Liverpool fans. So I was hoping to have so much Liverpool guys watching the show. But if anybody want to get a hold of me at Gooner Matterz, you can email me goonermatters@gmail.com. There you will see on the screen goonermatters@gmail.com. You want to get involved with the channel, and also we want to obviously broaden our horizon in terms of the views and um, the likes and the subscriptions. So if you're new, if you missed out, there's five people watching currently. Subscribe to Gooner Matters. Hit the bell for all the notifications. I mean, this is not the only content that I will do about Liverpool. I've got there's a big surprise coming on Gooner Matters between Liverpool and Manchester United. I'm doing that because the following of those two clubs are it's huge. It's very big. So subscribe to Gooner Matters. The content that you will see and hear, it's going to be amazing content. It's going to be something that you want to sit and be part of. Hit the like, leave us a thumbs up, and you will not be sorry for what you will see as content on Guna Matters. Alistair is a phenomenal, knowledgeable person. That's why he's part of Guna Matters. It's not the last that you will see of him. He will also feature in the next segment of Liverpool versus Manchester United. Alistair, before we go, just to conclude from your side, what do you see happening in the next season, 2021-22, for Liverpool? What do you think is going to happen, especially when they are linked with so many good players like Rafinha, Daxon, Gonzalez? I don't know him, but he sounds
mm,
like a good player. And of course, you had this guy coming, as you spoke of him early on. So just give us on conclusion. What is your take on the next season coming?
look, I think um, just the fight that we showed now the last couple of games to end up third and to get our Champions League spot showed a lot of character and showed, I mean, the Liverpool supporters, there's more to these guys than just a once-off league win. And I think I shouldn't be sitting here and say, look here, worry, because I am not worried. Because if everybody comes, everybody's fit. When Dijk is fit, um, Konate is fit, um, Matip is fit, and who was the other one? Joe Gomez is fit. Defensively, I shouldn't worry. Allison is fit. There's no worry. it should be a warning for the rest of the league if you're not gonna step up, because even the team that in second should know they didn't have a good season. It might have been the best season in 7 years, but it wasn't a good season for them either. So if the rest of the teams doesn't step up, because I promise you, Liverpool's gonna come out flying. Defensively, we're gonna be sound. The rest
Yeah.
of the midfield, the only thing interesting is who's gonna be filling Van Alden's place, with Genie's place. Who's gonna fill in that spot? That's the only thing that is a bit unknown. But we have enough to be able to say, look here, we have a good enough squad to challenge for the league again. Everybody's fit, everybody's playing good soccer. The rest of the club should step up. It's not for
Okay.
me to say I'm gonna be worried what's gonna happen. It's who's gonna challenge us. City's gonna be there. Who is the other team there that's gonna challenge us?
That's a load of confidence that you've got there in your team, man.
Uh, I look here. This season, I promise you, if we didn't have the injuries, like I said, it's not an excuse. I'm not trying to make an excuse of it. But if we didn't have, it would have been I would have been a different outcome. We
True.
would have been. I promise you. Um, the 9 draws that we have, I will take the losses as it came to us. I will take it.
Yeah,
But the draws,
that was bad losses for you guys. It was losses that you think that hey, you should have taken this game away from these guys.
yeah. But I will take it. I will keep the losses. My issue
Yeah, but
is the nine draws.
you
That
must
is,
be consoled by the fact that even Man City had worse of losses as well.
yeah,
United had a couple of losses. I mean, they lost against us, and they drew against us. So we took 4 points from them. Yeah, but I think the losses you guys had was supposed to be. I mean, I'm not going to talk about Arsenal's losses. I mean, yesterday we were almost relegated by. There's a question for you from Alex from Cannon Fodder TV. He says, "Here's a question for Alistair: should managers be given or giving high fives to their players?" LOL.
my manager doesn't give high fives. He gives hugs. He gives a lot of hugs.
Yeah, no, Klopp is a very dramatic and charismatic person, and yeah, I mean, he's a lovable guy, and I'm sure being in his presence, you will enjoy it. So, Alex, there you hear it. Klopp is not a guy who gives high fives; he gives hugs.
I mean,
Yeah,
he ran onto the field to give Allison the biggest hug I ever saw a
he
manager
picked
give
him
to
up.
a
I think,
player.
yeah, he picked him up a bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so Alistair, I want to thank you, my man. Really want to thank you for coming in. We had a surprise from another team. Unfortunately, with the load shedding in Cape Town and South Africa, their area where he stays in is they've been off for quite a while now. So, but he will also feature in the next Liverpool versus United segment. It will be very soon. And yeah, I hope to have a full panel. And I think it might be, yes, it might be next week. Next week, Thursday, on the chat room. As you could see, I've made this the chat room. I wanted to say it's armchair manager. I mean, that is what we call ourselves. We're armchair managers because we've got so
yeah,
much to say about any game that we play. But yeah, I'm sad for him not to be a part of it. It would have been a nice chat, but unfortunately, he couldn't make it due to the power outage in his area. Again, guys, subscribe to Gooner Matterz. Hit the bell for all the notifications and also give us a thumbs up, obviously, to like the channel. Like I say, we're going to broaden our horizon in terms of The content will feature the Evertons, the Evertonians, the Spurs, the Spuds, as they call it in London. I would like to get some Aston Villa fans out there. If there's Aston Villa fans, I like that club. Aston Villa fans, get in contact with me, Gooner Matterz at gmail.com. The Everton guys, please get in contact with us. If there's any Chelsea supporters out there, Man City supporters out there, even Ipswich, if you like Ipswich. I mean, Ipswich is actually a good team if you look at it, because I mean they came from the third tier into the championship,
Yes,
and
yeah.
they almost made it to the top half of that championship. And due to a lack of injury, game time injuries, and that, they also fell down the pecking order. So any football fan, even if it's local,
I actually,
Sundown, Chiefs. Yes, sorry, you can go for it, Alistair.
I actually met for the first time. I met Leeds supporters, and funny enough, it wasn't guys; it was ladies. And
Wow,
I think they were probably in their 30s, and the one was in their 20s. I met, and I asked him how long they've been Leeds supporters. I said like all the years I've been following Leeds.
wow.
I think the one of the girls stayed in Leeds for a while, so that's how she became a Leeds supporter, and that just
That makes
transferred.
sense. That
Um,
makes sense. Well,
so
Leeds are doing well. I mean, since they came up again, they've been doing well. So
yes,
yeah, Leeds supporters, every person that supports football and that follows football. I mean, you're welcome to come and get in contact with us. Gooner Matterz at gmail.com. There's so many things that we can talk about. So many things that we can even touch on here in South Africa. We've got Cape Town City. We've got Ajax Cape Town. We've got Santos. We've got local football in our areas. Like Mitchell's Plain has got a whole lot of clubs there. Eideveld has got a whole lot of clubs there. There's so many things we can talk about. It's not just about EPL. Yes, this channel is Gooner Matterz. It will predominantly be about Arsenal, but we will feature all sorts of football on here because of the following in Cape Town is very versatile. It's various people that support us here. Here's another comment before we go from your namesake, Alistair Umbral. I agree with Alistair with all the injuries, the outcome we've been so much would have been so much different this season. Alistair, thank you for your comment. My slogan on Gooner Matters is for football fans all over the globe where your opinion matters. So it doesn't matter what opinion you give, it will matter because we want to hear the voice of the fans out there. And that is the reason why Gooner Matters are here. And like Alistair, like Mario, like Alex from Cannon Fodder TV, the Urban Jeffrey, the people that has watched. So thanks a lot, guys. It's nice to see that the people are interested in the talk shows that we have. So this podcast is not gonna be just we're gonna stay a podcast. Cannon Fodder, I'm part of Cannon Fodder's channel as well. He calls it a Comcast, which is the community, a community of Gunners supporters, and there's not just Gunners watching it. There's a lot of other people also taking part of it. So yeah, let us become a family, like you say, Alistair. Just in closing, Alistair, what are you going to be up to now for the next couple of days until we see you again?
well, my manager is listening to this. I was supposed to be 6 o'clock on training, so but Jeff is my team manager. So excuses, boss. That I couldn't get training.
Yeah,
Uh,
Jeff, sorry for that, man. Sorry for that. Nah, next time I'll ask you. In fact, Jeff might also be featuring if the makeup will work for you.
Uh, we
Yeah.
just we just started with preseason, trying to get our bodies back into some kind of condition, playing condition. Because I mean, I know all the guys that I know that you've seen, we still actively over 40s playing still football with yourself also included. So we
Yeah.
still trying to continue, because I mean, our love for football doesn't stop at the Saturday or the midweek game that we watch on TV. It still continues on a Saturday, on a Sunday, over 35, over 40, wherever we can get the game friendly against whoever. We're still trying to keep in that kind of shape, and the guys are still willing and able to put their bodies not to a
In
certain
shape.
extent, because they still need to go work the next day, but still to put their bodies on the line. So we're all in the same boat, as I can say, because COVID played hell of a trick on us, because ons het allemaal lekker vet geraak, lekker rolletjies gekry. So now just trying to
You're rolling on the pitch.
yeah. So now just trying to get back into shape. Jeff will probably start giving us training, and just then we'll see, because the LFA's got their own agendas regarding when soccer starts for the senior teams, and after that they will probably either reintroduce over 35 and over 40 games back um, into not circulation, back into but we still playing, hopefully, his football league. There's also the other league that we play in, um, so hopefully they will also get their ducks in order,
In
so
the
that we can
rolling.
start playing soon. Hopefully you will join us. They're playing every
Well,
every Saturday.
don't you have a striker?
No, we like a good
Yeah.
Arsenal target man. The one that you've been missing out the whole season. A target man.
Yeah, no, that's nice. Yeah. Well, thanks, Alistair. It was good to have you on the show. It's not the last, and it's not the first or the last that you will be on here. We will have nice, good fun again. And yeah, let's hope for next week to be a good one. So yeah, everybody, thanks again. Watch out for Gooner Matterz out there. Subscribe again, hit the bell for all the notifications, and of course, give us a thumbs up. And without any further ado, Alistair, just wait, don't leave yet. Without any further ado, let us say goodbye to everybody, to all the Liverpool supporters, to all the United supporters, and of course, to all the Gunners.